Coming up, we are going to talk about all of the new updates, changes, and strategies to make Lightning Lane, Multipass, and Single Pass less confusing for you. We're also going to draft. We're going to create a simulation for all of Lightning Lane Multipass. What does it feel like when you're making those selections and the one attraction you really want is gone? You can have backups, and we're going to duke it out, take rides from one another, and create a draft with Lightning Lanes toward the end.
Because I'll just get in the standby line for pirates, or I will use my Tianas and then grab pirates as my use one, grab one.
But today you
Not
can't.
for today.
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. We've got another good one for you today. I'm so excited. We are merging a complicated topic with my favorite podcast episode format that we do. We're going to get competitive here. We're going to make it a draft. I'm with Becki and Stacy. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Y'all feeling competitive this morning and ready to rock?
Yes. I don't know why I'm so competitive in this, because in life I'm just not a competitive person, but here we are, back to get second place again.
Yeah. I think I bring it out in you, maybe. I ramp everybody's competitive nature into high gear because it's less fun when you're just sitting there and you don't care. You have to care deeply when you are doing this, especially alongside me, because I care so extra deeply.
I think I've just accepted that I'm going to come in last place every time, but it's okay.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I think you're going to do a great job today. I don't think that's true.
What if, Stacy, you and I could get Allie to come in third place?
If we get a little partnership going, yes. Okay,
We're
I'm
texting
in.
each other
I'm in.
behind the scenes.
Yes. I
still
will
do-
show you my cards. I will show you my cards.
This is like Hunger Games alliances, and this is very unfair. Okay. Well, I'll just remember to unlink you from my family and friends in the real life, and then you're on your own, kids, for Lightning Lane. So we are excited to do this because just as life is ever changing, Disney is ever changing. Do you all handle change well in life in general? Is that something you can tolerate, that you accept, or is change just very hard for your family?
Change is easy for me because I look at life as the only thing that's inevitable is that something's going to change. But my son does not handle change as well as I do. Like, he wants to know ahead of time everything that's going to happen in life. He wants to know what we're having for dinner next Thursday. Life for him, just he wants it ironed out. And I know that there are those people that exist, but I am just 180 degrees different from that. I am easy, go with the flow, change on the last minute kind of planning person.
What about you, Stacy?
Yeah, I think naturally I don't handle change very easily, but I think after all these years of being a mom and getting older, and I've kind of learned how to. And so I find myself in situations where I need to be okay with it. I can be, but if I'm in a situation where I can see that other people can handle all the stress, then I might fall apart a little bit. It's like if I don't have to take on that worry and that stress, then I might let my inner stress come out. I think probably naturally I would say I don't like change very much.
I am actually sitting here laughing at myself because I say that I'm easy, go with the flow, and I actually am. However, saying easy and go with the flow is my version of what I am. For anybody who wants like hard, fast things, they probably look at my mentality and they're like, Becki, you're driving me crazy with your inability to commit to something. You're willing to just kind of change.
You are one of the most easygoing people I've ever known.
Oh, well, I take that as a compliment, but
yeah, if we're all trying to make a decision and I'm desperately trying to yank an opinion out of everyone, you're like, it's fine. Everybody's opinion is fine. I accept and appreciate everyone's opinion and value it for what it is.
Exactly.
That's very you. Is that not Becki?
That impersonation of Becki was so much better than your Winnie the Pooh. You did so good on that one. Good job.
Thank you. I'm still working on Pooh. I'll debut it here sometime. So I like to think, first of all, by nature, I'm a very type A, anxious person. And that's who I've been in my life. I think as my life has increased in chaos, so as my kids have gotten older and my work has gotten more plentiful, I'll say, instead of stressful, activities are happening all of the time and balancing life has become a more difficult task. I think I've allowed myself to be a lot less type A and more go with the flow. I am hopeful right now that people in my real life that are listening are not pausing this to die and laugh at me and say that that's not me at all. Because I do, like, I used to be the person that if we said we were going to a Mexican restaurant for dinner and then somebody flipped the script on me and now we're going to Italian, I would have really had a hard time managing that. That would have been stressful for me. And I think I've gotten a lot better and I'm a more enjoyable friend, family member, and human because I've allowed myself to adapt to change a lot better than I used to. I think it's allowed me to welcome the changes that Disney has brought to us now as well, which is the whole reason we're doing this episode today, right? When it comes to changes and processes with Disney World, they like to change things fast and often, I feel like, right? And so a couple of years ago, we had the debut of a line skipping service. It was the first time we had it back. And since that moment, it has changed maybe 5 times. 6 times. And now we have Lightning Lane Multipass, no virtual queues. So we have a lot of information on Lightning Lane Multipass here on the podcast. Tons of episodes that you can absorb and learn all about it, how to best use it in every park. But the content and the information quickly gets outdated when Disney makes their changes. So it's important you're always listening to our most current episodes for your most current updates. And today we're just going to update and freshen up some of our Lightning Lane information. And then we're going to play a game to really simulate Lightning Lane and how it's going to work for you on your trip. Do you like the new changes, Becki?
I know that I'm like out on an island on this, but I truly love that they got rid of virtual queue. I love that I can go to Epcot and I can go get in line for Guardians. I don't have to stress the 7 a.m. And I know that there's a lot of conversation around, man, you're going to have to wait in such a long line. Virtual queue was almost an hour wait on the regular. So being able to decide if I'm getting in this line, is this line going to take me 45 minutes as I've seen it be 45 minutes since the change? Or is this line going to take me 85 minutes? At least I know that I'm committing to 85 minutes when I'm getting in that line. Where in virtual queue, you had no control over how long that line was going to be, and you didn't know whether you were going to be there for 45 minutes or for 90 minutes.
Yeah. For anybody listening today, I hear all of the time, people love listening to the show, and then people will say, I really am a more visual person. How can I visualize this? If you don't know, we have an entire shop of visual companion guides that go with a lot of our episodes. We have an incredible Lightning Lane guide that one of our co-hosts, Carla, actually designed. You can buy that in our shop. You can follow along, and everything we are going to say on this episode leading up into our draft is something you can follow straight along visually with in our guide. So as a quick refresher for people that are trying to learn about Lightning Lane for the first time, or maybe you're just looking for a refresh ahead of a trip, when can I book Lightning Lanes is a very important thing to remember. If you are an on-site guest, we talk about this on every Lightning Lane episode, you are going to get to purchase your Lightning Lanes 7 days prior to your check-in date at 7 a.m. for the length of your stay up to 14 days. So if you're staying longer than 2 weeks, you're going to have a break in the time you can pick. But that is an awesome long window. That's going to be for all Disney Resort guests, Swan and Dolphin Resort guests, and Shades of Green.
And that is 7 a.m. Disney World time. So if you live on the West Coast, you may have a really early morning if you want to be one of those first ones. But just as a time zone girl, these ladies here, they live in that Walt Disney World time zone. I have the Central time zone, and it's always a math problem for me to make sure I know exactly when I can get on there.
Yeah, for purposes of this episode, especially, anytime we talk about time, we are speaking in Disney World time. So I'm sure if you live in another time zone, you're probably already used to those adjustments. Like Stacy said, I am negligent of them because I live in Disney World time. If you are not staying on site and you are an off-site guest or just an annual pass holder local, you are looking at a 3-day window. So you're not getting that same priority 7-day window. Your on-site guest counterparts are having a 4-day head start on selecting their Lightning Lanes, and you will get to pick yours 3 days prior to your first park day at 7 a.m. Walt Disney World time. You also have your single pass, and that's something that you can purchase at the same time that you purchase your multi-pass. So I think understanding your when is very, very important. Becki, explain a little bit about how it works to our smarties.
When we're thinking about booking Lightning Lanes, maybe you don't even know. Maybe this is your first episode joining us, which, again, go back and listen to previous ones after you listen to this one, because this is the most up-to-date information that we have. The Lightning Lane system is a system that you are using your MDE, My Disney Experience app, in order to pre-reserve as well as on the day of reserve yourself time to get in line. This line is going to be a much shorter line than what you would wait in if you were going and just joining a standby queue. So there's going to be 2 lines for all of these rides. One of them will be a Lightning Lane, one of them will be a standby queue. And Lightning Lane is not just one single system. There are multiple systems within it. We have Lightning Lane Multipass, which covers most rides throughout Walt Disney World. And then we have Lightning Lane Single Pass, which covers select rides within each park, and those do not overlap. So a single pass line is not going to be included in the multipass option. The multipass rides will not be a single pass option. You're going to be differentiating between those two, and there are 2 different prices associated with those 2 different systems. I do want to say, if you are coming to us from this point, we've always also talked about virtual queue. Allie already mentioned it, just reinforcing virtual queues are gone at Walt Disney World right now, maybe to be reincarnated sometime in the future.
We have some refurbs going on some attractions right now, and I think we could see virtual queue come back. It's all speculative right now. We have no idea. But again, going back to that change, you just never know quite what is going to happen. So once you pick your multipass, once you purchase a park, you can purchase it 1 park at a time. You are going to be selecting 3 what they call pre-select rides. And each park will have 2 groups, with the exception of 1 park, which I'll mention. I don't want to get too confusing with the information. There is group 1 and there is group 2. When you are in your pre-select window, which is that 7 or 3-day window, you can pick 1 attraction per park from group 1, and you may pick 2 attractions from each park in group 2. Where a lot of people get confused then is how it works once you get to the park. So I want to make sure to clear this confusion up. Animal Kingdom is the only park that does not have 2 groups. All of their attractions are held within 1 group for selection. So you can just pick 3 options from their group. Once you arrive at the park, the groups go away. I have found since Multipass became a thing, people have a very hard time grasping this. They'll say, do I need to get my group 1 attraction really early so I can snag another group 1 as soon as possible? It does not work that way. Once you are in the park, the groups are gone. You use a Lightning Lane, you get a Lightning Lane, and it can be any attraction. So if your first group 1 selection is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is currently closed at Magic Kingdom, and you get it for late in the day, and you have an earlier ride time for a group 2 attraction, as soon as you scan in for that group 2, you can snag another group 1. You can snag Space Mountain if that's your pick. It no longer matters. And I think that's something very important that people need to hear, because you think that you're always going to have to follow this group 1, group 2, and you are not. Use one, get one. Best way you can remember, best mentality to have once you arrive.
The only thing I want to add to that conversation is you had said in Animal Kingdom, all rides are in group 2, and that's the only exception is those single pass rides, which we will talk more about the single pass, because the single pass rides will never be included in that collective group of multi-pass rides.
Yeah, this is why I love doing these Lightning Lane episodes, and I know we've done them per park, and I think it's just information that people crave. You know, if you are a Disney, like you're somebody that loves Disney and you just want all the Disney listening you can have, then you're interested in this. Or if you're planning a trip, this feels like the most stressful element, I feel like, most of the time, and you get confused with the Lightning Lane multi-pass versus the single pass. I think it's very important, just as important as that use one, get one mentality, to go ahead and frame it in your mind. Single pass is a different program entirely than multi-pass. You don't have to buy both. You can buy one or the other. Neither option is included in the purchase of another, and they are sort of, for purposes of this conversation especially, completely different things.
Correct. And I think that it's also important to understand that if you have a ticket to the park, you do not have Lightning Lane. Lightning Lane is something that you have to purchase in addition to the cost of your park admission. And we as a podcast team or as travel agents do not benefit from you using this. So this is not a paid sponsorship to convince you on why you should use Lightning Lane. We personally believe that this is going to make the best use of your day if you can fit it in your budget. So we're saying these things specifically to encourage you to have the best outcome if it can work in your budget, but know that you can absolutely go to Disney and still have a magical trip, even if this does not fit in your budget.
Yeah, I think it's important people know too that the reason you use this is because your time is your money at Disney World. Stacy, how often do you use Lightning Lane yourself?
That's a great question. In different circumstances, there have been times where I do not use it. I am a big fan of it. Every time I don't use it, I always kind of wish I was using it.
That was going to be my follow-up because I know this
Yeah.
about you, and my
Yeah.
follow-up was going to be, how much do you regret it on the times you don't have it?
Yeah, and the reasons I don't use it are usually because the people I'm with don't want to use it, and because I'm willing. Like every time, let's go, let's do it. I'm good. So I just came back from a trip where I was helping babysit, is what I was saying. I was like, I'm babysitting at Disney World. So everybody was kind of giving me a little bit of grief about going back so quickly. Y'all, I was at Disney World for 16 days of this new year. I have been at Disney World for 16 days in 2025.
Stacy, you are
That
basically being a nanny at Disney.
I know. It is so crazy.
A granny,
Anyway,
you're a granny nanny. The granny
yes,
nanny. We're gonna launch that business soon for you.
I'm in. I'm in. Let's do it. So this last trip I was on, my daughter had a job down in Orlando. She was taking both of her children, and she just needed me to keep up with the oldest one while she was working. She keeps the youngest one as she nurses and has him with her all the time. Of course, I'm like, I will keep her at Disney World. So we let her pick the day, right? Like I was just letting her have control of the itinerary, and for convenience of my daughter coming in the evenings, I didn't want to have Lightning Lane and her not have Lightning Lane. She did not want to purchase Lightning Lane for being there only in the evenings, etc. So we did fine. I was able to navigate just fine, but we definitely only did the kiddie ride, right? The little children's rides who we were able to work around when they weren't quite as busy. And it was fine. But I did not ride Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. Kind of
Right,
crazy.
exactly.
I did
Yeah,
not
that's
ride it. And normally that's like, I can't believe I've been to Magic Kingdom and not riding Pirates of the Caribbean. But the line was just longer than I wanted to stand in line with her at 2 years old. So, it's doable. We had a great time. We rode plenty of things that she wanted to ride, but it was definitely it was just different.
I think that's a great way to explain it, right? You did not ride Pirates of the Caribbean, one of the greatest rides in Disney history of all time, in Magic Kingdom especially. And you do run the risk of missing those things when you don't invest some of your budget into Lightning Lanes, right?
That's right. Yep.
I'm going to just quickly go through the groups as they are right now today. Remember, talked about that change. Disney is always changing. You never know as new attractions are introduced how this could affect the groups. But as they are today, at Magic Kingdom, in Group 1, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which currently and for the foreseeable future is undergoing refurbishment, not open. The Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan's Flight, Space Mountain, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Group 2 at Magic Kingdom is full of attractions, so many. The Barnstormer, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, Dumbo, Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, which is the teacups, The Magic Carpets of Aladdin, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Mickey's Philhar Magic, Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tomorrowland Speedway, and Under the Sea, The Journey of the Little Mermaid. That is a lot of attractions you can knock off a list in a single day with Lightning Lane Multipass, and I would venture to say most of those will have return times available most of the day.
Yeah, we've firsthand used this in this park.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing use of Lightning Lane in Magic Kingdom.
Absolutely. Okay, Park 2 here, Hollywood Studios. Group 1, you have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster, which soon to close for refurbishment. I expect any time. Slinky Dog Dash. Group 2 includes the Alien Swirling Saucers, Beauty and the Beast Live on Stage, Disney Junior Play and Dance, for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration, Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, Muppet Vision 3D, Star Tours, Toy Story Mania, and Tower of Terror. A lot of shows included at Hollywood Studios, which we can talk about why priority seating for shows is important. I think a lot of people think it's a waste of Lightning Lane. It's not. I personally have been shut out of The Lion King at Animal Kingdom. I've talked about that on the show. I've also been shut out of Indiana Jones twice in the last year. Like, have not learned my lesson.
Oh, wow.
Did not learn my lesson, decided too late I wanted to go, and could not get in.
Oh, wow.
And I've also been shut out of Frozen. So if it's a busy day in Hollywood Studios, another one.
Yeah, exactly. At Epcot, your group one is Frozen Ever After, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and Soarin' Around the World. Group two is going to be a little bit of a weaker group, I think, among the Lightning Lanes. It's the Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival, Journey into the Imagination with Figment, Living with the Land, Mission Space, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Spaceship Earth, and Turtle Talk with Crush. And then again, with Animal Kingdom, Multipass is all one group. You do not have two groups to pick from. And everything included in Multipass at Animal Kingdom will be the animation experience at Conservation Station, Dinosaur, also closing for refurb soon, Expedition Everest, Feathered Friends in Flight, Festival of the Lion King, Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond, Kali River Rapids, Kilimanjaro Safari, and Navi River Journey.
When you're saying closing soon, you don't mean in a negative way. These are all great things because they're coming back as something better. So we're not losing completely. So just in case somebody is not really following along with the Disney news, these things are going to be closing for upgrades.
Yes. Yeah. These attractions and shows are going to be refurbished in positive ways I'm very excited about. Okay, Becki, tell us a little bit more about Single Pass and then which attractions are included at each park.
Lightning Lane Single Pass is the individual purchase of a ride at your designated time. So while you are going through the process of purchasing your Lightning Lanes, you're choosing your multi-passes, all of that, buying a single pass is also an option for you to engage in. And it's a select group of rides within the parks that you're paying for a specific time in your day to go to that ride and pretty much go right on. If it's any line, it's a very, very, very short line. Each of the parks have rides, at least one. Some of them have multiple. For instance, in Magic Kingdom, the single pass options are Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. In Hollywood Studios, it is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. In Epcot, it is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And in Animal Kingdom, it is Avatar Flight of Passage.
Almost all bangers. I'm not going to reveal because we're drafting which one of those I don't think is a banger, but just say I don't think one of them is. Okay, that kind of sums up everything that is Lightning Lane as we know it right now, how you're going to use it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are drafting, and it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be a real-time simulator of what Lightning Lane selection could look like for you and your family. Each of us have different priorities as our families, and this is going to be fun. See where our Smarties line up, who they line up with, and how we make this work. This episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast is brought to you by BabyQuip, the #1 baby gear rental service across the US, Canada, and beyond. There is nothing more difficult for my family with 3 young kiddos than when we are traveling. We're just out of rhythm without our things. We just feel out of step and our kids feel off. It can make our vacation feel so much more stressful than it needs to. With a wide range of baby and toddler equipment available, including cribs, strollers, car seats, toys, and more, BabyQuip helps give us some of that normalcy that our kids crave and we need as parents when we are away from home. When they're happy, we're happy. And by using local quality providers that are often moms, dads, and grandparents just like us and you smarties that are listening today, BabyQuip makes sure that you are working with somebody who understands the needs of your family firsthand. If you need it, they have it. All products follow strict cleanliness and safety protocols and are also insured to give you that extra peace of mind that you need to really enjoy your vacation. With convenient delivery to your location, whether it's a home, a hotel, a vacation rental, wherever you're calling, home away from home, they've got you covered. BabyQuip is available in over 1,500 cities, making it accessible. So whether you're heading to Disney World, Disneyland, or another travel destination, BabyQuip will be there for you. With their easy-to-use online platform, you don't have to stress about getting your products. Head to babyquip.com. Use code SMPOD, that's SMPOD, to get $30 off of any order of $150 or more. That's babyquip.com. Pack light, travel happy. Okay, we're back and we're ready to draft. I'm going to explain how this draft is going to work. It really is going to be like a simulator of selecting Lightning Lane. When I'm working as a Smart Moms travel agent, all the time, the families I'm working with are asking me, which park do I go for first? Do I do single pass first or multi-pass first? Which park do I do first? Which attraction do I grab first? It's all how do I do it and how do I not miss out on a ride? And the reality is, all you can do is strategize your best. Go with what you think is your top priority for your family versus what you know is more popular. You know, there are some popular options here. Maybe not the Mad Tea Party isn't going to sell out first, right? So you go for what you know is more popular first and you hope for the best. But the reality is a ride could already be gone, especially if you're an offsite guest and especially if you're going at a busy time of year, or the return times could be really late. So by using our draft format, we're going to go in a snake style. We're going to spin the wheel of names here in a moment to decide our order. We're going to go snake style around. Our draft categories today will be Magic Kingdom Group 1, Magic Kingdom Group 2, Hollywood Studios Group 1, Hollywood Studios Group 2, Epcot Group 1, Epcot Group 2, one attraction from Animal Kingdom Multipass, and one single pass ride. Lots of draft categories. And it's going to be just like what a Lightning Lane selection morning is, because once an attraction is taken off the board, you can't grab it. So it would be just like if you were going for it in the morning, but you prioritize something else, something could be taken from you. And this draft is really going to show our real-time decision-making and thinking. Hey, if my top priority, not going to say what it is because of the draft, blank, blank, blank is gone. Here's how I would handle that. And here's how I would pick the next best thing for my family. It's going to be awesome. I think it's really going to break down the system for you and show you that, hey, even if your top priorities are gone, as some of ours will be naturally in a draft, you can still problem solve, and here's how you can make it work for you. Are you ready? Do y'all have a strategy?
I do.
100%. However, at this point, I've pretty well just come to the realization that Allie's going to draft first because she always
I
drafts
know, because
first.
she rigs. She
No,
rigs it.
I do it. I'm going to share my screen. It is a wheel of randomness. That is unfair to put in the Smarties' minds that I would ever cheat. Also, I am like very nervous. My heart is pounding like it's 6:50 a.m. on a Lightning Lane morning, and I'm about to make my selections, and I'm all like anxiety ridden and adrenaline pumped because things could be gone. Y'all, this is how it really feels. So this is like a true real life Lightning Lane simulation. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Smarties, I'm going to talk through this as I do it because I don't appreciate the accusations. I do not appreciate the accusations. Okay. Share my screen. Do you all see my wheel?
We see it. Hey, but wait. Why did you make your color like 50% of the wheel?
First of all, stop misrepresenting what is true. That is a direct look. When it's at the top, it looks bigger.
No, we're 33% each. It's fine. It's fine.
That is a clear, even pie. This is ridiculous. Okay. Are we ready? I'm gonna click to spin. And next time, Becky's doing it.
Wait. Are you spinning for first or are you spinning for last?
First.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Y'all making me nervous.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What the actual heck?
Y'all,
Allie.
I'm telling you, I don't know how she does it.
You guys, this is impossible to rig. And as competitive as I am, I will tell you, I am not a cheater. Like, winning without true effort is my least favorite thing in the world.
So sacrifice that.
Absolutely not. This was fair and square. That would be cheating. That would be cheating. Okay. Y'all are giving me such a bad look for this draft. This is unfair.
All I know is it always picks you first. That's
this is your alliance coming out, and it's unfair to me because
the
all I
facts
do is
speak for themselves, people. I want you to go back and listen. How many times? I just want you to listen.
We're releasing, Stacy, you're going to have the raw footage of this, and we're releasing it to YouTube. We're going to make it McKinley, our behind the scenes guru. She's going to make this into a reel, and y'all are going to see.
I think that Allie just knows like where her name needs to be in the circle in order.
That's not true, because look, now Stacy's going second. And Becki, you actually have a coveted.
Coveted. I'm not going to get what I want. I now have to go to my backups.
That's not true, because
you guys are going to choose wrong. That's just the inevitable. You'll choose wrong, and I'll get what I want. It's fine.
And here's the thing. You all say that drafting first matters most. I actually disagree, because I'm going to have one pick, and by the time it gets back to me, 4 more picks will be gone. You will each draft twice before I get another pick. So I actually think drafting first kind of stinks, if I'm being really honest. I'll get 1 pick and then 4 things will be off the board. So I'm actually probably the one that's screwed here, especially on Lightning Lane morning. Imagine waking up and 4 of your top picks are gone. Come on.
But it's so much more fun to just nag. So
Yeah, but I think effectively convinced you that I'm actually picking in the worst spot, especially for this draft. I think first is the worst, to be honest. Okay.
Says the person who always chooses first and has won multiple times.
Okay, but on this episode, I'm going to miss 4 of my top picks. You need to keep that in mind. Do you know what's going to be gone? I know exactly what I'm going to be left with. This is tough.
I feel like you know it's going to be gone. Yeah.
Do you want to trade with me? Not going to actually trade. Yeah, we're not going to.
We're not trading. But...
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start. Remember, once an item is taken, once an attraction is taken, it is off the board. And now I don't know what I'm going to do. I was really certain in what I was going to do. And I do want this to be a true simulation of what matters most to each of our families. I think that's important for purposes of what this episode is, not just for winning.
I'm actually excited about that because there are a lot of times on these Lightning Lane itineraries where we're picking things for the general population, right? Like that's kind of, this is going to be what, not knowing anybody's personal circumstances, this is what we suggest. But for this one, I get to do it my way as best I can and how our family does, because we are all very different and it'll be fun to talk about.
So do you think that we should summarize first before we jump in on what our family dynamic is?
Yeah, so I have 3 kiddos that I'm usually traveling to Disney with. I have twin 7-year-olds that are daredevils. I've told the story of my son crying, getting on Expedition Everest multiple times, not because he was scared, but because he could not believe he was finally tall enough, and he was weeping about it. They are daredevils. They like all of the big thrills. To be quite honest, we don't spend a lot of time riding the less thrilling rides. And I have an older daughter who's now 10. She has always been a thrill seeker, plus she's very tall. So she has always been tall enough for everything since she was pretty young. And my wife and I, the 5 of us usually go together. We bring friends and family along, but that's kind of how we are doing it. We're a thrill-seeking family.
My family is myself and my husband, Sean, and then we have 3 kids that are very close in age. Our oldest was only 3 when our 3rd child was born. Can you guys believe that? That seems crazy to me now that I'm distant from there. But our oldest is 18. She is in college, so a fellow adult. And then we have a 2nd child, my daughter McKenna, who is in high school. And then our 3rd is a 9th grader in high school. So we are high schoolers and college students, like a group of 5 young adults and adults in our situation.
And I think my mindset for this draft is going to be my most recent large family vacation. We had 16 of us, and we had someone there that was their first time. And then the majority of this particular trip, my family members do not come often. So they like to do everything they can on every trip, whether it be a kiddie ride or a big thrill. They want to do it all. So I'm going to kind of come at it from that perspective, I think.
Okay. I've been studying my thing here. I want to remind listeners, because you all gave me such a hard time for drafting first, why that is not actually a thing. Because it is snake style. I only go first in round 1. I actually go last in round 2 because it's snake style. It goes me, Stacy, Becki, Becki, Stacy, Allie, Allie, Stacy, Becki, Becki, Stacy, Allie, and so forth. So Becki actually gets to double up her picks. Then the next time around, I get to double up mine, and Stacy always goes between us. So we are snaking around. I only go first this time.
I think that Ellie is playing the victim in the situation, as if she does not also get to choose.
So I'm going to put in a little violin.
And then 6th, and then 7th, she does get back-to-back choices then as well. So
I don't feel sorry for her. It's fine.
Y'all are making the general population not like me, and they're actively now rooting against me, and it's very unfair.
We could not make our audience not like you. Come on.
I painted Becki in the most beautiful light earlier in this episode. I did my impersonation so wonderfully. I made everyone fall in love with her, and now, I'm the victim of an alliance. Okay. I have talked.
There is no such thing as not loving Ellie, though. We already know this.
I know. Come on.
I have talked my way long enough. I don't know what to do. Here's the thing. I am going to miss out on something good no matter what I do. And I have to be true to what my family would do. And we are going on a cruise. As we record this, we have a cruise in 15 days. And the day before the cruise, we're doing one park. And I asked my kids at dinner last night, we don't have our ticket yet. Like, what park do you want to go to? And it was unanimous. They all want to go to Epcot because they all want to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. So if I'm keeping it true to my family, I actually don't know if it's strategically the best choice because there are a lot of strong single passes, but the reality is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is not only the best ride at Disney World, it is maybe the best ride anywhere I have ever ridden. I don't think anything can ever top it. Every song is a different experience on this attraction. And my family, when given the option to go for one day, wants to ride Guardians. So I have to take Guardians and Single Pass because I have to be loyal to my family. Could not be more thrilled to have it. My favorite ride for sure.
That's a very good choice. I expected that choice to be what was taken. And this is tough strategy here because there are things that are probably more important to me in a ride, just like Guardians. Like I'm going to, in a trip, do whatever I can to ride Guardians as many times as I can. But I knew in this game I was not going to have it, right? So I'm having to think around things. So I think my strategy is going to be to get the thing that we really, really want to do, that if I don't get it first, it's gone. And it's going to end up being a standby line that I don't want to do. And that is going to cause me to go with the Hollywood Studios Group 1 choice of Slinky Dog.
Yeah.
I am choosing Slinky as my first choice.
That's a great pick. And in terms of drafting and strategy, and I don't want to give you these props, but I will. Slinky Dog, you take it or it's gone immediately.
Yep.
And me taking Guardians first is actually a move I would do. You know, my family would go for Guardians first. We would be more disappointed without Guardians, but then we would not ride Slinky because we would not wait in the line. And just Stacy, as you said, it's a line if you don't get it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you're picking for all of your days out, right? You're staying on property, you're getting to choose all of your days trip on that pre-select day. I would pick Slinky. Like, don't have your little list and go like, okay, well, we're checking in on a Monday, so Tuesday is my first day of choices. Don't start with Tuesday if you're going to Hollywood Studios on Thursday. You know, go out of order if Slinky Dog is the most important to you like that. So go ahead. The things that are farther out, you're going to probably have a better shot at anyway, if that makes sense. And you don't have to go in chronological order when you're going down your list, right? So jump ahead to the things that are most important to you. I have missed out on things like that where I wasn't really thinking. I was like, oh man, that was dumb. I should have picked the other first and now it's gone. So yeah, so I'm going Slinky because we want to do it. It is such a fun little ride, and standing in that standby queue is not my thing. I do not want to do that.
I am not surprised by either of your picks. They are not the picks that I would have chosen for my family. So Slinky Dog, Hollywood Studios would not be my priority of what I'm choosing to draft first, because Slinky Dog is, as having teenagers and adults, that's not a ride that my family is necessarily going to prioritize. If we stand in line because it's a shorter line right later in the day, maybe, or if we get there when we get to the park. But for mine, this is a no-brainer for me because it is my very favorite ride in all of Disney World. So many people have Guardians as their reason why when it comes to Disney rides. For me, my Disney reason why is Flight of Passage. If I was to spend money on any single pass, it would be Flight of Passage. For me, it is worth the cost of admission into Animal Kingdom. It is amazing. So that is my choice.
You get two.
You know why I wouldn't? Might be a good reason for me to talk about why I don't do Guardians first, because here's a tip on if you're going to do Guardians, if you're buying it. And this is why you all give me such shade about, I do love Guardians. Guardians might be the best ride in all of Disney World. It really is amazing. But what I don't love about it is that I feel like that when you're going through it, everybody's so in a hurry to get to the roller coaster that the magic of the pre-show feels like it's less. Like people go to the right side of the room instead of staying in the middle and waiting for the magic. Don't follow the crowd so quickly. Stay in the magic of the line if you're doing Guardians.
I do think it's hilarious that now that people know the door is to the right, like we're all going to ride pretty soon. Once you're in the room, you're going to ride pretty soon. And the scrunching up to the right is pretty hilarious.
It is. And you miss so much because everybody just follows the crowd. And if you just stay to the left where the open space is, you're going to get on the ride, 2 minutes after everyone else got on the ride? and you get to
If
experience
that.
so
It's so
much better.
fast.
It's so
It's
fast.
fast. Yeah. They're loading from two sides, but you all can hear why I picked the best pick because we're still talking about it like
It
2 rounds
is.
later.
It is an amazing ride. It really is an amazing ride. Okay. So I have Flight of Passage, and now I get to go on to my next priority. I'm going to hop to another park for my next selection. And this is one of the higher demand rides that if you do not prioritize this, it will not be there. So if you are going to Magic Kingdom and you want to ride this ride, you need to choose Tiana's as your group 1 ride.
Yeah. Really good pick. Obviously solid. Tiana is one of the newest attractions in all of Disney World. And if you have any nostalgia for the old Splash Mountain, it's the same track and big drop, but now rethemed into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is great. Good pick.
And now that virtual queue's gone here again, if you don't get it and you're not doing multipass, you can still go get in line. That's why I love that virtual queue is gone, is that everybody can experience it. It's just get to go through a less than 10 minute till you're on the ride, or I'm going to stand here for whatever the standby line is.
All right. That's going to be to Stacy.
All right. I think going with my single pass here because in real life, I am purchasing Guardians. And since for the game that is not open, we also will purchase Rise of the Resistance. That is very much a top priority for us as well. Look at me. I'm really focused on Hollywood Studios here. I think Rise is totally worth the money. That can be a really long line and it can be very just exhausting to go through. And I think it is worth the shortcut for sure. So I'm choosing Rise for my single pass.
I'm thrilled. I'm very excited because if I'm building my dream trip off of Lightning Lanes, I was so worried that this would be gone. I knew Slinky would be gone, and I did feel like that was okay because honestly, when we go to Hollywood Studios, we ride it when we can, if we have a lightning lane or if the line is short. But if we miss it, we're also okay with it because I know this may be odd, but in my family, even with my two young twins, the family favorite that we have to ride every single time, no matter what, Tower of Terror. We are a Tower of Terror family. I am obsessed with the tower itself, the theming of the lobby. It is by far the greatest pre-show in all of Disney World. When you go into that tiny lobby and you watch the old video of the Twilight Zone, and then you're down in the basement, I have chills. I cannot get enough of Tower of Terror. When they shut that elevator door and you're about to go up, I'm giddy. You know, if you've ridden it with me, I am so pumped. I'm thrilled to have Tower of Terror along with Guardians on my draft board. So that's what I'm taking in my Hollywood Studios. That's actually a group 2. So that's my group 2 attraction.
Which is crazy and so good for all the world. I'm so happy they put it as a group 2. It just is surprising.
I'm thrilled it's a group 2. It's surprising. You know, this is one of those things where we tried to ride it on our trip together in January. We never caught it where the line was below 80 minutes. And so we did not choose to wait for it because we didn't have lightning lanes. And I was disappointed, you know, not riding Tower of Terror as many times I've ridden it in my life. But to be there just with friends hanging out for the day, I was disappointed not to ride it because I love it that much. So happy to have it. I feel really good. Where am I going to go next? I'm going to go to Magic Kingdom. I'm going to go into my group 2, and I'm going to apologize to my friend who's crossing her fingers because when given the choice to go to Magic Kingdom for one attraction, the one attraction that my family picks is the Haunted Mansion. I know.
This is my hard sigh. I
I
knew you
know.
were going to go there.
I have to take it because I have to because I'm thinking about my kids as I'm drafting right now. And when we did the 4-park challenge last year on spring break, we had to pick one ride in every park to ride. And what they picked was Haunted Mansion. And so I'm trying to snag it for them so I can make sure to make it possible for them. So I have to go to Magic Kingdom. I have to snag the Haunted Mansion out of group 2. I think it's one of the strongest options in group 2. And I feel good about having it on my board.
I love that it's a group 2. I truly do. I think there are so many worthy rides of being on group 1 level in Magic Kingdom. I think Haunted Mansion could have been a strong play for a group 1, but I'm glad that it's in group 2. Similar to your feelings about Tower of Terror.
Yes, I'm with you there. And we're still drafting, so I don't want to say just yet, but in a little bit, I'm going to talk about the strength of Group 2 at Magic Kingdom, but I'll put a pin in it for a moment.
I love that. You're such a good mom. Oh, except then you leave this mom not getting what this mom needs to get for her family.
I'm a better mom than friend.
Well, good. You should be.
and wife, because Zan loves the Haunted Mansion. She loves to go in there and see the Imagineering that went into every single room.
So good.
She loves to ride it with each of our kids and point out different things. That's very much her jam. So I have to take it. All right. I feel really good about my pick so far. This does look like a Thomas family priority list. I feel great. So Stacy, that goes to you.
I'm going to share where I have already made a mistake. I should not have picked Rise already. That was dumb. Y'all had already filled out your single pass. So I had freedom to let that sit. I could have sit and wait until my last choice because y'all couldn't have picked another one anyway.
Yeah.
So that was dumb.
Look
so
at
then
you
I missed out.
Stacy.
Well, look, no. It's not that I'm growing. I have these type of strategies in my brain. I am the slowest person to come around on things. It's kind of like what you were asking about earlier. Do you get stressed out about stuff? No, because I'm so forgetful about things. I forget what I was supposed to be focused on anyway. If we were supposed to be going to Mexican and then we changed to Italian, I would have forgotten that we were going to Mexican in the first place. And I'd be like, oh, that's cool. So anyway, just a little insight here.
Hey, Stacey, is this your business pitch for the Granny Nanny?
No, they do not want me as their granny nanny. Okay. I would have all the alarms set.
You gave me 2 kids? I could have sworn there was only 1.
What if she had 3? She comes back with 3 kids.
Did come from? Whoops.
I have all 3 of your kids here, ma'am. Granny Nanny, I only have 2.
No, I am an excellent granny. Let me tell you, I am very good at taking care of children.
You are.
But remembering things, I can remember that I'm supposed to have a child, right? But remembering that I'm supposed to meet their mother at Dumbo at 2:00, I might not be so great about. Oh my goodness. Okay.
She'll be like, I forgot the stroller. The stroller is over on the other side of the park, but I got the kid. It's good.
To be fair, that's my mom as well. Like, my kids can go anywhere with her. They will come back. I'm 100% positive of that. But like, will they come back with shoes on? Maybe not.
There was a day that I was very nervous about some of the potty training stuff because I didn't remember all of the things exactly how I should have, but we did fine. We did great and it worked out. So
all right, Granny, what's your next pick?
Back to focusing here. Okay. So I did miss out I should have gone with that Tower of Terror myself. I do like that, but I'm now remembering, okay, if there's only 1 pick in a category, I should focus on those versus the ones that have 2 picks. So I'm going with my Magic Kingdom Group 2. I need Pirates. Sorry, Becki, but I missed it this last trip. And that's higher priority to me than Haunted Mansion. So I need this. I'm grabbing Pirates. So sorry.
This is a secondary extra heavy sigh. Like,
yeah.
Because if I was being a good mom, I would choose Pirates. I'm a 1-4 outweighed here on Pirates. My family loves Pirates of the Caribbean. I kind of sit on a Haunted Mansion on my own shelf.
I think this is such a good way to showcase Lightning Lane, Multipass, and a simulation, because the way you prioritize things really can affect the way things become available, right? Exactly as we're doing. You prioritized a single pass for Rise of the Resistance, Stacy, and while you were doing that, I snagged up maybe the last spot of Tower of Terror. And that's truly how Lightning Lane can work, and it's why it's so important. You really think and strategize. If I get this for my family, we'll be happy. I may miss this. And you kind of go in that reverse order.
Right. But we do need to remember, too, that in real life, you don't only get pre-select, right? Like you are going to watch in the park while you're there. And it is shocking how often the things that have been gone, unavailable for the week leading up, right? And if you keep watching, you might find it.
For purposes of this game and this simulation, it would almost be like if we, at the end, could all give up 1 and put it back in the pool. And then you'd be able to draft it. That's kind of how this works in real life. Of course, we're making it a game today, which I think makes it easier for listeners to understand. But I also think listeners are aware that there are more than one of us are going to get to ride these rides. And, but just this is showing how priorities can really shift availability.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I'll just get in the standby line for pirates, or I will use my Tianas and then grab pirates as my use one, grab one
Yeah.
approach, right?
But today you can't.
Not for today.
Right. I just know that I have definitely had clients who have been very confused to think that their pre-selects are all they get. And that's just, I know that that's not everybody, but it has definitely been the thought of some people.
Mhm.
So I want to make sure just because we're not getting these as our pre-selects, they're still very possible. Now that's why I chose Slinky first, because it actually does not come up very often, but
Right.
Mhm.
a lot of them do. So
Mhm.
just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I think reiterating the point that Slinky Dog Dash is one of the biggest exceptions to that. Once it's gone, it's typically always gone. And if you don't grab it first, you're going to be looking at late night times because that is just a popular pick. All right, Beck, you
All
get
right, I
two.
get two. I get two. So I'm going to prioritize Epcot, Group 1. I'm going to grab Remy's as my choice for the Group 1 ride. It's back in the France Pavilion. Our family all loves it. We actually got to ride this for the first time when we were in Disney Paris and loved it there. Love it in Disney World. It's a great one. Definitely love having it in Group 1 in Epcot.
Really good pick. Obviously, a super popular one that has a long line all the time. And if you're entering from the front of the park, almost impossible to rope drop this ride because anybody that's entering from the international gate that's staying along the boardwalk or Skyliner is going to be rope dropping that ride. And by the time anybody from the front gates gets there, you're looking at an hour plus already.
Correct. All right. Now, this is a tricky one because I have three that I think equally are worthy of being chosen here. I am going to choose my Animal Kingdom ride, and I'm going to go with Kilimanjaro Safari. I love going on the safari. If I could go to Animal Kingdom and just ride Flight of Passage and go on the safari and eat all the food, it's an amazing day.
Sounds like a great day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. You have your Animal Kingdom all set up. The safari, I told a story recently. Zan loves the safari, and a giraffe's head actually came into our safari car. It was crazy. The safari cars stop, if there's animals
Mhm.
crossing because you're really immersed. And a giraffe just slowly walked up to us, and our safari guide said, "Everybody just sit really still and, don't yell or anything." Obviously, we weren't in danger. And the giraffe just poked its head into our car. It was wild, actually.
And I'm actually going to even add a little bit of extra commentary to my choice for the Kilimanjaro Safari. I am going to put it as close to golden hour as possible because that's my personal favorite time to get on it. And I'm also going to, when I get up to the front of the line, I'm going to ask to be in the back seat because our family loves to be able to have a broader view without people's heads kind of in view. So those are my own personal tips about Kilimanjaro Safari. The best around sunrise or golden hour and in the back seat of the Jeep.
Love it.
You said Safari.
Safari. Safari.
All right, it's your turn.
All right, remembering my new strategy here, going with where there's only one pick. I think I'm safe on a couple of these. So I'm gonna take the Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom. That's really important to me because we've got to see it every trip. It definitely does fill up, and I would like to get it at the time I want to get it, right? I want to get it in the morning so I can get out of that side of the park and I don't want to have to go back over there later. So I'm picking Lion King.
Yeah, we've already talked about how you can get shut out of that show, and so you want to make sure you prioritize getting in there. All right. I am at another. Oh, I get two, don't I?
You do.
Oh, I get two, don't I?
Okay. This is tough. I'm at a bit of a crossroads. Okay. I'm going to take one, and then we're going to take a quick break because that'll put us directly at the halfway point. Oh man, I am torn. Okay. I already have my Hollywood Studios Group 2. I could go to Group 1. There are a couple of strong things left there. I don't necessarily dislike any of the rides left in that category. I would feel good about those.
Stacy, will you start the ticker?
And just kind of talking my way through it. This is how I'm going to process if I have my Lightning Lane open. Okay.
You lost it, Ellie. It was way long ago that everyone else stole everything in front of you.
Okay, this is so hard. I think I'm going to go ahead and be a good wife. Okay.
No, I know where you're going, and that's not
I'm
fair.
I'm going to be a really good wife. I think you must know where I'm going. I'm going to go
I
to
do.
Hollywood Studios Group 1.
Yep, you are.
There is nothing my wife loves more than Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. It is a Group 1 attraction, and she dies laughing every time. We have a great memory of riding it for the first time together as a family. And if I'm being really honest, I think my personal family might even enjoy it more than Slinky. I don't know. We just are big Runaway Railway people. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I feel good about it. And we're going to take a quick break, do our Friend Like Me segment. We're exactly halfway through our draft. Love the way this is shaping up. Go listen to some other Smart Moms travel agents that are just like us out there doing their thing in the social media world, booking trips and entertaining followers of the Disney loving community. And we'll be right back. Calling all boy moms. You have to go follow our friend Courtney Deegan at jolly_holiday_planning on Instagram. She is a widowed single mom who loves Disney and loves living a Disney life while living with her son. She takes solo trips with her little one, and she is very well versed in all things military. Her husband was part of the military, and she knows exactly how to help families that are looking for similar type care. That's jolly_holiday_planning to follow Courtney on Instagram. When I am planning a family vacation, all I care about is the memories I make with my family and kids. You have to join our friends at Smart Moms planning quality family time in Disney. Their group's about offering practical tips and realistic expectations to make sure that your families come home with quality experience and memories that will last forever. They combine parent-focused advice and personalized planning tips to create a welcoming and supportive community. It's a one-stop shop for families who want to plan the magic stress-free and with the memories that matter. Smart Moms plan quality family time in Disney on Facebook. All right, we are back. I have a couple of choices I could go with here. I have 4 categories left. So far, I have taken Haunted Mansion in Magic Kingdom Group 2, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway in Hollywood Studios Group 1, Tower of Terror in Hollywood Studios Group 2, and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind in my single pass. Stacy has taken Pirates of the Caribbean in Magic Kingdom Group 2, Slinky Dog Dash in Hollywood Studios Group 1, The Festival of the Lion King in Animal Kingdom Group 2, and Rise of the Resistance in single pass. And Becki has Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Magic Kingdom Group 1. She has Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in Epcot Group 1. She has the Safari in Animal Kingdom Group 2, and she has Flight of Passage in Single Pass. Okay, I think where I'm going to go next is one where I don't think you can necessarily go wrong. No,
You can go wrong. You can go wrong.
Yeah, I guess you really can. I'm actually
Just say it. You're gonna draft Mission Space.
nah,
And-
get out. That's not even on my short list. That's not
even on your list. That's like on your
Yeah.
exclusionary list.
Yeah, it's like I have a short list. I'm marking things off as I go. Okay, I'm definitely going to Epcot next. And I am going to go ahead and go with my group 1. And I love both of these rides very much, but I have to go with Frozen Ever After because I have a little girl, my youngest daughter, who has been Elsa obsessed her entire life. She is so cute with her Elsa obsession, and she is outgrowing it rapidly. I feel it in my bones. Glinda is taking Elsa's place. I feel it. And it makes me a little sad, but I want to get on Frozen for her while it still matters to her. So I know that Frozen is another one of those really popular ones that you're either going to be waiting or you're going to miss out entirely. These lightning lanes go away really quickly. And so I'm going to snag Frozen Ever After for my Epcot Group 1.
I love it. However, I thought when you were saying there was a little one at your house that loves Elsa, it was you.
I do love Elsa. I love Elsa. She's my girl. By far my favorite Disney character and princess. Elsa from Frozen 2. Elsa Queen. When she rides that frozen horse in the water and then battles the wave and sings Show Yourself. I mean, come on, that's the best. Her and Sadness are my favorites.
Both a little blue in their personality.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I might need to work on that in some sort of session. Okay, Stacy, you're up.
Okay, this is getting tough. Ooh, I will head to my Hollywood Studios Group 2 now. Even though, okay, I'm going to choose Toy Story Mania. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm choosing Toy Story Mania. although it's because Tower of Terror is not there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I really feel like the queue, if I end up having to do a standby queue for Toy Story Mania, it's a fun queue to go through. It's fine. It's one of those that if I am not able to get it, it's okay. I'll go through the queue on this one. But as I mentioned earlier, I also want to have a Lightning Lane for everything. So I will choose that.
I feel as though Stacy only has chose Hollywood Studios.
She
Yeah,
loves it.
it feels that way a little.
All of your choices have been Hollywood
It's
Studios.
interesting. Yeah.
If you have somebody who's competitive or a gamer in your family, Toy Story Mania is a no-brainer. My family loves it. I was hoping it was going to hang around. I'd hoped that was not where you were going, Stacy, but it is a good choice. And we would probably honestly choose it over Tower of Terror for my family because we are a family of gamers who are competitive in my family's competitive. I beat them, but I'm not trying to beat them. I'm just that sounds
You're just that good.
Sean has trained me really well. He's taught me where all of the hidden things are, how you have to combine your efforts in order to get into secret areas. There's a lot of training and strategy that goes into that game.
Yeah, so fun. Love it. Here's my deep dark secret, which I think I've actually revealed before. I am terrible at that game. I never win. I always tell everybody that I'm going to win, and I'm 99% sure I've said this before on here. I'm always like, "Are you ready to go against Sam?" You know, I'm so competitive. We're going to duke it out, and then we sit down, and I'm like, "I'm terrible, by the way." I like cannot get my arms to move fast enough for that pull string.
I can't sit next to Allie because she's not going to be able to team up with me well enough.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good.
Oh, goodness.
All right, Becki, you get 2.
I get 2, and I have several obviously still on the board. Where do I want to go next? Honestly, this is going to be a crazy choice for a lot of people, but I'm just going to take it because it is the right choice for me. And my family will not stand in line for this if I don't skip the line for it. So I'm going to draft Living with the Land. It will often have a 20 to 25-minute wait if you can get in the Lightning Lane and just get straight on the boat. It is one of my very favorite things in Epcot. I love the educational side of it. I really, really want to do the behind the seeds tour, behind the seeds tour that you can take and explore the Living with the Land ride from behind the scenes. It's where you're growing food that they serve in Disney. It's amazing. I love it. It's personally one of my top 3 boat rides in all of Disney World.
This is a ride just for your enjoyment, right? You're just going to sit back and relax and learn a little, take a break from the chaos. It's very pretty. My brother thinks it's one of the worst rides in all of Disney. He had some commentary about how the rides we came up with as the worst. He had some commentary about what we got right and wrong. And he felt that this Living with the Land deserved to be on that list. And I could not have disagreed more. I think it is an enjoyable ride. It is for your enjoyment. And for any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, the Hidden Mickey will be enjoyment.
I have to tell you this little story from our trip just last week. My granddaughter, who is 2, loves this ride. And I feel like a lot of children do love it. It's really a fun little ride. And she was so excited to take her little brother on it. And he is 6 months old. And she kept asking, can I hold him? So that she wanted to hold him and turn him towards the things that she wanted him to see. It was so, so cute. And she kept calling his name, like, look over here, look over here. And she would point out the different little plants and like, look at this flower. And it was great. It is such a sweet, sweet ride. We love it too.
Yeah, my brother's out of touch there with that one. He's wrong. All right, Beck, you get another choice. See, now you go first.
I do. And honestly, where we're at, everything that I want is kind of my free pick at this point. I haven't hit Hollywood Studios at all. So I guess let's go over to Hollywood Studios. Might as well choose my group 1 simply because it's going to be there. You all took what I would typically take as my group 1 between Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Such a good ride. So what do I take as my backup? I guess I'm going to take, gosh, what's left, guys? I love Rock and Roller Coaster. Would I take it as my group 1? I would probably do single rider line for Rock and Roller Coaster. So I'm going to take Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. My family does go on this ride every single time. We always try to recruit a 6th person to come in with us because if you're a full cart, a full spaceship, then you can unlock Chewie mode. But being a group of 5, our family does love it. Again, with the video gaming aspect. It's a really cool ride.
Yeah, maybe if you're a smarty listening today and you send us the Hidden Mickey enjoyment, we can let you know how to unlock Chewie mode.
Love it.
All right, Stace, that means it's your turn. We're getting close here.
Okay. I will go with my Epcot group 2, and it's going to be weird also, just like you said with Living with the Land, but it was, I think, a pretty good choice. And this choice, I feel like I need to defend. I'm going to pick the Seas with Nemo. And the reason why, let me tell you, the reason why is because we have a pattern, and I will bring it back up when I go through my Epcot Group 1. We need it done early at a specific place and time so that we can get into the aquarium, so that we can get into Turtle Talk with Crush. We have a system. This is how our family does it. We do it every time. We rope drop Frozen. Then we head to what I'm going to have as my Group 1 pick, and then we go to Nemo to get into the aquarium. The standby queue for that is terrible. And actually, this past weekend, we were there and it was packed. I had never seen Nemo packed. And I just was like, oh, there's no way I would do that line. It's very zigzaggy. And when it was full, I was just like, no, no, no. So anyway, I'm picking that just to avoid the zigzaggy, just to make it a straight shot, straight in, because boom, it's on my list, and then boom, it's off, and I'm picking something else. So it's totally fine to have something that's usually a short wait in my choices because it's not going to be there for long. So I am good with this choice. I am picking Seas with Nemo.
Is the zigzaggy like a motion thing for you? Because I do know you have some visual elements that bother you.
No, it's annoying. It's annoying because I'm like, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and it's empty most of the time, and it's this required zigzag. It's not like when you're in a queue that has chains and they can drop it so that you don't have to zigzag, and it's a required zigzag. And it's just, when it's empty, it's annoying.
This is similar to like if you were to be the first people on Flight of Passage. It's just a really long walk to get to the front of the line. I actually don't mind this line because they have elements that are along. Like, there's a lot to see. They put the fish on the walls. You can touch the butt kind of idea with the boat that's up above. I also don't mind this line because even if you're in the line, you're basically walking the entire time. It's a constant loading ride.
Yeah. All right, that's going to bring it to me. There is one category where two of us still haven't picked. And I'm going to make an interesting pick that I think is a little bit unpopular. I like that I'm getting to make it here to really show personal family strategy, because I think there's a more obvious pick I maybe should take, but my family doesn't want to ride that ride. And what my family wants to do is go to Group 1 at Magic Kingdom. You know, I've thought about my wife, I've thought about my daughters a bit. I'm going to mention my son here. And what he wants to do more than anything is ride Space Mountain. He is already asking me if before our coming cruise, if we do go to Epcot and ride Guardians, is there any way we can still ride Space Mountain? And this is because he is the shortest kiddo in my family. And so the girls were tall enough for Space Mountain together before he ever was. He cried at the entrance of that queue, and my wife had to take him over to do Buzz Lightyear, and it was very, very traumatic for him, you know, but we couldn't tell his sister that she couldn't ride. She was tall enough. And so when he was finally tall enough, I mean, it was like the same trip that he was tall enough for Everest, and it was the greatest. Just now our whole family can go ride these thrills together. And so I cannot leave that on the board knowing that he wants to ride it. So I am thrilled to get that for him. And it is actually the way I would probably prioritize at Magic Kingdom. It is a Group 1. I do think that there are more popular Group 1s. Probably could get that later in the day, but I would not want to risk it for my specific family because he would be devastated if we did not get on it. That leaves another one. This is going to speak to the lack of strength that I believe exists in Epcot Group 2. I just don't believe that Multipass has a lot to offer in Group 2. You know, you mostly get it so that you can ride those 3 Group 1 attractions that exist there, and you hope that you can get all 3 throughout the day. In Group 2, you all have made good picks. I'm super thrilled. I'm going to go ahead and take Spaceship Earth. Weirdly enough, Spaceship Earth gets a very long line, and it does not move quickly. People want to go up in the icon. You know, you want to go in the castle and eat at Cinderella's Royal Table. You want to ride Tower of Terror. You want to see the show inside the Tree of Life, whatever it's going to be. Previously has been Tough to Be a Bug. You want to go inside Spaceship Earth. A lot of people call that attraction boring. A lot of people love it. Actually, my oldest daughter, on her earliest trips to Disney World, she consistently would say this was her favorite ride. And it's like a history lesson in communication. But she used to say all the time that this was her favorite ride, and she would beg to ride it. So on her behalf, and just for the fact that I think Group 2 at Epcot is pretty weak in general, this line does get long, and you're going to be waiting a while if you catch it with a line. I'm going to go ahead and take Spaceship Earth in my Epcot Group 2.
You know, Epcot we've talked about it before on these Lightning Lane episodes. it is an interesting phenomenon in Multipass at Epcot. I feel like you can do everything here with the Lightning Lane, right? There is a way to do it all. So where I was defending my Seas with Nemo choice and you felt like you needed to defend Living with the Land, it's because they really are just personal choices at this point because we're really going to get all of them. Like I feel like all of these group twos at Epcot were going to be good. So I think it's a very efficient system in that way. If you can plan it your Epcot day with the multipass, you're going to get to see everything and not have to stand in line. And that's just a fantastic way to go, right? Okay, so my Epcot group 1 is safe because you've both chosen. So I will go to the only other one I have left, which is Magic Kingdom Group 1. I also agree Space Mountain is a great choice. You did a good job there, but I wasn't panicked about it because that is one that usually you can get later in the day. So I'm going to go with the one that is so ironically difficult to get, and the line is always terribly long. We've talked about it on multiple episodes. I will pick Peter Pan for my group 1 at Magic Kingdom. It is always insanely long, but we do want to ride it. We do want to ride it. And I will not stand in a 70-minute line for Peter Pan, but I will happily use a Lightning Lane.
Yeah. Looking at current wait times at Disney, am I the only person that ever opens the app and is just like curious? I wonder what the lines are like. Currently, it's a 40-minute wait, which is longer than Haunted Mansion at 35 minutes. It is just going to be a long line. And if it's a priority, it's the right choice.
Yep. I think I've talked all the time about I don't understand the popularity in this. Why is it so much more popular than Haunted Mansion? Because it is. You know, I have no idea. I would far rather ride Haunted Mansion. And you're right, Stacy, you know, if this is the priority for your family for the reasons that it's so popular for so many, you're going to want to prioritize it because it's popular and you're not going to be able to get it later probably. And you're going to be waiting for a ride I just don't think is worth the wait, to be quite frank. But yeah, if my family misses out, we're not going to sweat it too much. We don't really care. So that's why I didn't go there. And I didn't want to say it exactly because you hadn't drafted it yet. And I knew you would, but that's just what made sense for us because if we miss it, we're not going to care.
So I have 2 now to finish out my draft overall. And I actually am really happy with both of these options. For Hollywood Studios, group number 2, I would have taken, if I was drafting and could get anything, I would have taken Toy Story Mania and Tower of Terror as my 2. However, of the shows, the hardest show, in my opinion, to get into, especially if it's a last minute decision, is Indiana Jones. So I'm going to take Indiana Jones as my Hollywood Studios group 2. It is a show worth watching, especially if you have little ones who love, oh, Stacy's wearing an Indiana Jones shirt. If you have little ones or big ones that enjoy action movies, my daughter is huge into film study right now, and my son loves cinematography. And so this show feels like it's built for where my kids' interests are. I love it. We really do always prioritize seeing Frozen. That would have been my secondary choice here. However, if you're at Frozen, if I was there at least 10 minutes before the show, I've always been able to get into Frozen. I've been shut out of Indiana Jones multiple times.
Yeah, 2 times this year for me, as I said. So good pick. I don't know if it's where I would have gone. I probably would have gone Frozen next, but either one is a good pick. All right, and that means you get your last one.
My last one is my Magic Kingdom Group 2. There are so many great options, and I don't even know that there's a wrong choice here. So I'm going to go for choosing based on 1, what's going to have a long line, and 2, what's important to me and my family. And for me, that's the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. That is not something that is going to sell out immediately. It's going to have availability throughout the day. However, the standby queue for Winnie the Pooh is currently equivalent to the standby queue at Peter Pan. And I love the ride. So if you are a lover of Winnie the Pooh, or if you have a little one that you want to entertain, the queue for Winnie the Pooh is an okay one to stand in because there's a lot of fun things to entertain them throughout that queue. So that's it. That's the end of mine.
And I'm just going to say, I think just as I kind of said, the strength in group 2 of Epcot is kind of weak. I feel that way too about Magic Kingdom, but not in the same way. I see a lot of value in group 2 of Magic Kingdom because there are so many rides. So I don't want to call it weak because you're going to ride 10 things and wait less than an hour. You know what I mean? awesome to have. I just think that I think it's a good thing. I don't think a lot of the rides are high demand. I think a couple of the rides are high demand, and then the rest are accessible throughout the day, which is the way you want this to work, right? I think honestly in group two, probably Haunted Mansion and Pirates are your highest demands. And once those are gone, they're hard to come by. And I think everything else will find itself pretty available most of the day, which is good.
Yeah, and all of these options, once you've gotten past those highest demand pre-selects, you're just grabbing whatever you can to enjoy a short wait and get through the rides that you're going to enjoy. You're going to have a good time through all of these other secondary kind of rides.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
right. I mean, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's just if you plan it well, you can get through almost everything, and I was so impressed with our large group of 16 when we were there. We did everything. We did not miss anything. That's fascinating to me that it's even possible to do one with a big group, two in one trip. It was amazing. So I'm just still a big fan.
Yeah.
Even with us not having it this last weekend, I was just like, man, I know this would only save me a couple of minutes here and there, but I really wanted it because you get kind of spoiled to it when you don't have to stand in a standby line.
Yeah.
All right, so that gives me my last one, right?
Mhm.
And this is one that, again, Epcot, I know that this is not, I knew I did not have to go running to this choice because I knew you were going to pick Remy and Frozen. We will rope drop Frozen. I am skipping Remy, and my family is thankfully willing to kind of let it be that they'll catch it when they can for my sake. And we get Soarin'. So we do rope drop to Frozen and then go directly to Soarin' right at opening time with that first choice, that 9 a.m. And it's very quickly enjoyed and it's off the list and we're able to pick the next thing. So it is something that's pretty easy to catch any other time of the day. So it doesn't have to be anybody's priority, but it does work for us in our system and our path that we like to take around the park. And I knew I would be no competition with y'all for having to choose that. So I'm happy that it's there though for us and our family.
I do love Soren.
Yeah, it's such a great ride. It's one of those rides that I always take my shoes off because remember I'm a flip-flop person because I don't wear socks. But I take my shoes off.
You're that person that's your raw foot just dangling there in front of other
Ew.
people.
Yes, but I'm not alone. I am not alone. Every single ride there is tons
No,
of
you're
people.
definitely not.
There are tons of people who do this. So anyway, the Soarin', when it comes down after the ride, every single ride people clap. It was amazing.
Yes.
What an amazing journey.
Yes.
And I'm so happy because during the arts festival, when I was just there 2 weeks ago, I went on Soarin'. And I'm so happy that they did the update, that the scene at the end is updated and that they took away the slantingness for those
That's what I was
outside
gonna
people.
say.
It's so good. I love it. I love it.
Yes. It was super obvious on the Eiffel Tower, right? So the Eiffel Tower was one that, and I knew that the update was being talked about. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, look, this is updated. It's not leaning. It's not the leaning tower of Eiffel
anymore. Yeah.
I haven't seen it like that. I'm excited too. I knew that they were doing the update because the slanted and it would get more slanted as you would go. It was like a warped
The more
hourglass.
you notice it, the worse it is. I mean, if you can not be aware of it, kind of ride it new and fresh eyes, you may not notice it as much. But as soon as you know that it's there, it is really obvious.
Yeah. And it was really just for the outside people. If you were in that middle section, you weren't seeing it so much.
Yeah. Okay, so that leaves it just to me with my last pick. I have one place to go. It's Animal Kingdom Group 2. Super happy to be grabbing Expedition Everest for my little soft-hearted guy. He's going to be weeping because he's going to get to ride it. He's too little to go single rider. So we could not use that strategy on Expedition Everest. And you know that Disney, when you walk into your resort room, and the channel that shows you clips of everything in each park and the park hours and kind of gives you an initiation on what to do at Disney World. When my son was little, there's a clip of the Yeti and he was so into it from a very young age. Like, what is that? What is the big monster? How do I see the big monster? Is this the monster coaster? So happy to have it on my list. I feel great. I actually feel like these are the things my family would have prioritized. I'm going to wrap up here exactly where we all landed with our priorities here on our Lightning Lanes. In Magic Kingdom Group 1, I took Space Mountain. Stacy took Peter Pan, and Becki took Tiana's Bayou Adventure. In Magic Kingdom Group 2, I took Haunted Mansion. Stacy took Pirates of the Caribbean. Becki took The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. In Hollywood Studios Group 1, I took Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Stacy took Slinky Dog Dash, and Becki took Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run. In Hollywood Studios Group 2, I snagged Tower of Terror. Stacy, Toy Story Mania, and Becki, the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. In Epcot Group 1, I snagged Frozen. Stacy snagged Soarin', and Becki took Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. In Epcot Group 2, I have Spaceship Earth. Stacy has The Seas with Nemo and Friends, and Becki has Living with the Land. Animal Kingdom, there's only one group. Our attractions for Animal Kingdom are me, Expedition Everest, Stacy, The Festival of the Lion King, and Becki, Kilimanjaro Safaris. And finally, in Single Pass, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Stacy has Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and Becki, Flight of Passage. I feel really good. We really nailed it. We spoke to our families and ourselves, and this looks like a great Disney trip to me.
I think every single one of our lists are worthy lists of rides. Talk about Disney just being an amazing place to go ride rides and have fun with your family.
Yeah, I agree. It really is. There are so many different personality types and so many different family makeups. You know, some families do not have any thrill seekers at all, and they're your classic chill seeker. And some families want all the thrills and want to stay far away from the Peter Pans of the world, you know? And no matter where you fall in that spectrum, Disney can be a magical place to be. And I think that's why we're all so obsessed with it.
Yeah. And even as like a group of grown-ups, my kids will still go on Winnie the Pooh and laugh along and just be funny with me about it. But I could ride Allie's list and I think my entire family would be happy. I could ride Stacy's list and I think my entire family would be happy. How do you go wrong? It's just such a happy place.
It really is. I love these lists. Again, the whole purpose of this draft was to create a simulation of what it might look like. How do you prioritize if the attraction you want happens to be already gone, off the board, times are too late? There are ways to strategize. Look, we all came up with perfect, awesome days, and things were in our way. Things were gone. Things weren't always there. So letting Lightning Lane, Multipass, and Single Pass be a stressful part of your planning is a mistake. You can use it, you can strategize it, and overall, even if the lead up feels anxiety inducing, it is an anxiety reducing thing to have once you're on that Walt Disney World vacation. That is going to do it for us on another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Don't forget to come find us in our social media communities at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast on Facebook, as well as on Instagram, where we are going to be voting on this very draft that you just listened to here coming up this week. So tell us if you think we got the right ride. Tell us if we got it wrong. We're excited to hear from you. Make sure you turn on your automatic downloads so this episode and all of the episodes drop straight into wherever you listen the second they drop. You never want to miss out on the Disney fun in your week. That's going to do it for us this time. And until next time, we'll see you real soon. That's okay. Before we started recording today, Stacy brought a new term into my vocabulary when she asked if I had the spreadsheet available.
I'm going to have to use a bleep on that. Okay.
All right. It's your turn. This is high stakes, you guys.
Only if you're trying to win. I'm only trying to come in second.